This is Sharon Barnholt with Innovative Property Solutions in the Louisville Gals Real Estate blog, and I am really happy to have Diane Conklin with me today. Diane is the founder of Complete Marketing Systems. She is an internationally known author, entrepreneur, coach, consultant, speaker, copywriter, and I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff I left out. She's also an expert in direct response marketing, which I am so excited to talk to her about. For more than 14 years, Diane has been showing small business owners how to start, build, and grow businesses using knowledge they already have, which I know sometimes people don't even know they have that kind of knowledge. Welcome, Diane.
Thanks, Sharon. It's great to be here and great to be sharing with your folks.
Well, I'm excited to have you because marketing has always been a thing that I've been very involved in, and I love talking to people that know a whole lot more than I do. Real estate investors typically, they don't have a plan. They fly by the seat of their pants. Now, they may have a plan that I'm going to put out some bandit signs this month, or I'm going to do direct mail one day. So how can you help folks like that with folks that go from zero to getting some type of structure in their business?
Well, I think one of the things that keeps people from having a plan is they think of it as this big, ominous thing. I have to put a business plan together. And so what I really do is I try to simplify it and say to people, it's not a business plan. The only reason you need a business plan is if you're going to go to the bank and ask for money. And most of us as small business owners and entrepreneurs, we don't do that anyway. Mm-hmm. So what I talk a lot about is just a marketing plan. And I start with a basic calendar. What are you going to do to build your business over the course of the next, I like to work in a 12-month sort of big picture and then narrow it, focus down to what am I going to do in the next 90 days? Because that's really as much as our brains can really think about. What am I going to do in the next 90 days? And I call this backward planning. We start with the end in mind and then backward plan your steps to what you're going to do. Here's the real key to this. It keeps you from what I call throwing mud on the wall. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, let's try this. Oh, my gosh, that's the newest thing. Let's go try this. Mm-hmm. And pretty soon you're confused and don't really know what you're doing because you've tried everything and you haven't measured anything and you don't really know what works anyway. Mm-hmm. So the other big thing I think in planning is think in threes. Our brains can think in threes. So 3 things. What 3 things are you going to do today? What 3 things are you going to do this week? What 3 things are you going to do this month? And if you do those 3 things and you execute them, and that's really the key, right? Implementation and execution, then you'll be amazed at how things change in your business.
I think I told you this one time when we spoke, but I'm a very visual person. And for me, having that great big calendar up on the wall works for me. Having it, whatever my plan is. Now, I know people that put it in a drawer or put it in their computer. And I have to say I've tried that and it just doesn't work. And time after time, my results are better if I have it staring me in the face and I know it's kind of like getting a syllabus for college. You know what is expected of you. You're more likely to do what you need to do. Wouldn't you say that's true?
Absolutely. And it's interesting. As you know, I've got an event coming up in October here in a couple weeks. And one of the things that we do is actually I give everybody their own marketing calendar. And it's a, 11 by 17 sheet and it's got all the months behind it. And what happens is it's very interesting because I really took this for granted for a long time. Yeah. People actually carry these calendars with them. We're actually this year also going to give people a Google or a program they can use. But having it on your desk, having it somewhere where it's visual, having it somewhere where you can share it with your team when you have meetings and those kinds of things so that, if somebody calls and says, hey, do you want to do this joint venture? Or, hey, do you want to try this new program or whatever? You can very easily now look at your calendar and say, yep, that fits. Mm-hmm. Or, you know what? I would love to do that, but I've got 3 other things on my marketing calendar this week. And so it doesn't fit. Can we do it next week? Can we do it next month? Mm-hmm. So it allows you really to make quick decisions. And not everybody's visual, but even if you're not a visual person, having that there to really go to use as the tool is, for me and for hundreds of my clients, literally it's an amazing thing. I was just speaking at an event a couple weeks ago and a gal walked up to me and pulled out from her, she didn't even know I was going to be there, pulled out from her bag and said, look, and she's holding up her marketing calendar. I take this everywhere with me. So, I think it's critical that you have something, in writing that, it makes it more concrete. Don't tell me you have it in your head, because that's
right.
a plan and a goal isn't a plan or a goal unless it's written down.
Well, I was telling a fellow at my RIA meeting last month, he just didn't really see that it was necessary. And I said, well, think of it kind of like paying your bills. And I'm not talking about they get paid automatically online. But if you always shoved your bills in a drawer and you didn't have any system for reminding you, whatever that system was, you're going to find you're paying your bills late all the time, because out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you don't, if you don't have something really on a daily basis that gives you, and let's face it, we all need accountability. I mean, we can say, oh, I'm 48, I'm 49, I'm 70, I'm 50, I'm 12, whatever. But the bottom line is we all grew up in the same system, right? We started in school, we went 12 years or 13 years or whatever if you count kindergarten, and then we went 4 years of college. And so for the first 20 years of our life, we were accountable to somebody. And so having that accountability, even if it's just to you and the calendar, or you and a staff member, or you and another colleague kind of thing, is really, really important for most of us from a business perspective.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. One of my favorite strategies, and has been back years ago, I had a home inspection business for a lot of years, and direct mail was a mainstay of how we marketed to realtors. And I know that you are an expert on that, and I still use direct mail to this day to market to my niches. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about your direct mail and the way you see it fitting into the overall picture today, because let's face it, online presence is important, but it's not everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think I talk about something that I call integrated marketing. And so you really have to, one is always the worst number in business, and it's certainly the worst number in marketing, because we all think social media and the online presence is always going to be there. Well, there are people 20 years ago or 10 years ago, however long it's been, who thought that the phone was always going to be their source of media, and right, or it's a fax machine. And both of those have essentially been taken away from us. So you just never know. And so the great thing about mail is that, one, it produces a better client. I don't know why, except that those clients read, right? So I kind of like clients who read myself, but because they have something tangible. And the other thing is there's so much clutter today with email. Now, I'm not saying don't do email. I'm saying integrate online and offline strategies. You want to be doing social media. You want to be doing online. You want to be doing email marketing, joint ventures, banner ads. But direct mail is definitely a piece that so many people don't give enough credit to. And one of the big objections, I think, Sharon, is it's expensive. Well, that's a myth. It doesn't have to be expensive. For $1 or less than $1, 50 cents, 75 cents, you can do a good, good mailings. The other thing is there's a new program the post office has that certainly for real estate people, investors and people who are in that niche would work really well. It's called Every Door, and it's a program where very inexpensively you can cover, really blanket is a great word, every home in a certain zip code or in a certain area of the zip code very, very inexpensively. So it's definitely something everybody should at least open their mind to and take a look at the potential of doing, because it doesn't have to be expensive. You can send postcards for 30 cents a piece. You can,
and I remember back, it hasn't been that many years ago that even postcard marketing was expensive, and now it's just really affordable to do postcard marketing. And for a lot of niches in real estate, for instance, absentee owners, postcards work very well. For probates, I only use white letters for obvious reasons. You don't want to send them a postcard in that situation. You mentioned integrating your online and offline presence, and I think this is a really tough thing for most people. A lot of real estate investors are one person or maybe two person offices, but they're just they get so overwhelmed with, I've got to look at a house, I got to do my direct mail, I have to talk to these people, and yeah, I'll do Twitter for a second, that they kind of, like you said, throwing things at the wall. And how do you put it all together in the beginning to get to the point where you can outsource something for those people that are really, really tiny businesses? How do you do this?
Well, here's the thing that I'm going to tell you is you probably can get help quicker than you think. Mm-hmm. Somebody asked me not too long ago, Diane, if you had to change one thing about your business, what would it be? And my answer has been the same for years. I would have started everything sooner. Mm-hmm. Hiring, doing events, every piece of my business, coaching, masterminds, all of it. Because here's the thing, you can find a soccer mom, you could find a retiree, you could find a college kid. There are a lot of virtual assistant opportunities now on Elance and Odesk and Fiverr and Smiver and BlackBerry, Crackberry. They're everywhere, yeah, right? Kind of like smartphones. But you can get people who don't have to be right where you are necessarily to help you do things for $8, $10 an hour. And so the thing that I always say to people is start small. But here's the thing, and this always irritates people, so I'm sorry, Sharon, I'm about to irritate your people.
No, probably not.
But here's the question. The question I always ask is, do you own a business or do you own a job? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I get that we start out, we all own jobs because we had to do everything and all of that. But as you start to make a little bit of money, put a little bit of that back so that you can have somebody and utilize some leverage in your business. So here's the thing that I always tell people. If you can hire somebody to do something or have a service provide a service for you that's less an hour than you're making, you should do it. Mm-hmm. Here's the other thing for all of us, because we're entrepreneurs, is it's a control issue. Oh, they won't do it like I would, right? It won't be as good. So here's what I say to people. You're right, it won't be. It won't be. But if it's 70% as good and it saves you 3 hours a day or 3 hours a week, what's that worth to you? Mm-hmm. Here's the other thing. I always say to people, our standard is up here. Mm-hmm. The client standard is here. Mm-hmm. We hire somebody who they can do it this good. It's still above the standard of the client. It's still good enough. Now, I'm not talking about putting out junk, but your standard doesn't have to be the standard that everything gets done by. And so start off small. Maybe it's 5 hours a week, but that 5 hours, if you really look at what you can get done in that hour time frame that you weren't doing before, it'll be head and shoulders. You'll have leverage in your business and start to be a business owner instead of an owner of a job.
Yeah, that's something that I think most of us have struggled with that, and I've gotten better at it. I have outsourced some things, and I actually was talking. I know you talk about accountability partners, and I have an accountability partner, and we have been talking about what can we get rid of affordably that will allow us to do what we should be doing. And you just have to get to the point where you move from having that conversation every other week to actually doing it. And I know it was a huge relief when I outsourced my mailings. That was just a job when I didn't have a person in my office anymore I didn't want to do it, first of all. I figure that I am more valuable than licking stamps. So, but yeah, that's a great piece of advice. You are known to...
the other thing...
Go ahead.
Sharon, before you move on, just quickly, the other thing I want to challenge people to think about is don't think about this just as things in your business, but what other things are you doing in your life? Like, are you mowing the lawn? Are you cleaning your house? Are you doing your own laundry or shopping and that kind of thing? And I know this sounds so silly, but if you can hire somebody for $20 an hour to clean the house or mow the lawn or do those things, have them do it. There's two reasons. One is it frees up your time. Doesn't mean you have to work during that hour. Yeah. Two is you'll be amazed at how freeing it is, not only of your time, but in your mind, not to have to think about, is the laundry done? I know that sounds, for me anyway, having grown up on a farm, right? I mean, when my coach said this to me, I was like, you've lost your mind. It's laundry. But it's amazing how even things outside your business can make a huge difference, not only in your business, but in your life. So I would challenge people to think about it from that perspective as well.
That's a great idea, because I think entrepreneurs in those early years, they tend to, if they're really maybe type A personalities, you just tend to work yourself to death, and you look up and you have no balance. You just, I'm working on it, I promise you. But it's really tough to, I found myself in Florida a couple of years ago, and I was pacing the beach thinking I've got this back there and I've got this, and I just had to hit the stop button and say, this is not what I should be doing. But it's almost something that you have to learn to do. You have to learn to let go, and when you let go of that first thing, then the second thing is easier, and then so forth. I think it is anyway. But yeah, I agree with you on the whole cleaning the house and mowing the lawn thing.
It also makes you more productive in your business, because the thing that I know is there are things that I do that are what Dan Sullivan refers to as my unique abilities, right? The things that I'm really good at that just juice me up. Like I can do them all day, every day, and I'm so excited to do them. And the other things like the detail stuff or the keeping the books or all of that is not my unique ability. One, I don't like to do it. Two, it takes me a lot longer to do than it should. And three, there are times in my business when I resent the fact I'm doing these things instead of the things that I like to do and the things I'm good at that bring money into the business. And so it creates that whole why am I doing this feeling too? Or as you begin to work more and more in the things you're uniquely good at, you enjoy your business more and you make more money. You have more fun.
I believe that, absolutely. One of the things that I know you teach people is how entrepreneurs can outperform their competition. And is this just about measuring? Is that the main component of that? Or tell me about that.
Well, part of it is measuring. And the thing is, so few people measure that it allows you, by adding that one simple thing to your business, it's amazing how many things it allows you to do. It allows you to, one, save money, investing money in your marketing in the areas that you know are working. Right. It then allows us to test our marketing to say, okay, here's our control. Let's change one thing and see if it raises or lowers, right? And so it allows us to really do that. But there are the other thing that I would tell you, in addition to measuring and knowing what you're doing and why you're doing it, which is strategy, which is a big thing that a lot of people don't talk about, and the leveraging piece that we already talked about is, when you have that plan and you're leveraging and you're focused on knowing what actions to take, which is really implementation and execution, which are the other two things that most people quite frankly just aren't as good at, right? They have ideas. We're entrepreneurs. And so we have all these ideas and, oh gosh, there's another one. Oh, there's something else I could do. Oh, but if you have the plan and you know what you're supposed to be working on and you know what the next thing is, all those bright, shiny objects that go flying by our faces every day suddenly aren't even in our periphery to see, because we're focused on implementing and executing and getting things accomplished and done like never before, because not all action in our business is created equal.
That's true. And it's, I think Darren Hardy said one time, when you fix out your schedule for the day and you put down I think he says 5 things, look at your things and ask yourself, which one of these is going to make me money? And which one is, maybe you need to do it, but it's not a money maker. And that's how you can narrow your focus too and decide, what is it I really need to be doing today?
Yeah, absolutely. Brian Tracy has a book called Eat the Frog.
Yes.
He talks in there about doing the thing that you least want to do, because most of the time it's the thing we most need to do to create income in our business and to move the business forward.
Yeah, I try to remember that all the time. And it definitely does change your business too, because once you get that dreaded thing out of your way, then you're free to go on and do what you like to do more creatively.
Absolutely.
A a lot of people that I know are in the position of they're creating their first product, or maybe they have just created it, and then they have this overwhelming task of they're going one shopping cart, this, and get paid and put it up here and do the autoresponders, and then they just shove the product back in the drawer. So I know that you're very good at helping people with that and creating sales funnels, and it is just like a huge bomb went off in a room for somebody that's never done this, all the pieces floating around.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that I would say to you again is it comes down to sitting down and working this through. Mm-hmm. The first thing I often tell people is the product, it's going to blow some people away, the product is the least important part. Mm-hmm. It's the least important part. So find out if there's a need, even more so than that, if there's a desire and a want, because let's face it, nobody needs your product.
Right.
We fall in love with it, but nobody really needs it. But if people want it, then that's where you go, right? So find out if people want it, then build a list. Build a list of people who have an interest. Because now, when you do develop it, there's a lot of easy ways to keep them engaged with you, keep them in the process as you're developing this thing. You could deliver it a little bit at a time. I have a program that I did 2 years ago that I did as what we call a micro continuity, which means every week they got a part of the program. Well, guess what? I only had to be a week ahead. So I didn't have to go develop this big product before I sold it, right? I just developed it and gave it to them as I put it together. So there are a lot of ways. I love to get paid while I make a product, right? So a 4-week teleseminar that somebody pays $27 or $49 or $97 to get on, and you record the product while you're getting paid. The events are a great way to do that. So the way I tell people to do this is look at having people that you can sell the product to before you get all involved in developing something that you don't even know anybody else wants. And in a lot of ways, this has been the key to the success of what I've done. I really listen to what people are saying, what's happening in the marketplace, and how do I provide them with that thing. I'll give you just a quick example. I was in a mastermind meeting 3 years ago, and people were talking about, I need somebody to manage my social media. And like 3 people in this group of 12. And I finally said, are you guys serious? And they were like, yeah, why? I said, can you wait 2 weeks? They were like, yeah, why? I said, because I'm going to develop a social media management program. I've got 3 clients sitting in the room. If you guys are serious, I'll have it done in 2 weeks. They were like, okay. So 2 weeks later, I had 3 clients paying me to do social media management because there was a need. If there was a need in that room, I knew there was a need elsewhere. So really looking at that, I think, is one of the most important things. The product is the least important thing you're going to do.
That's a great idea. I know that concept with coaching, certainly you kind of get paid up front and work with the person, but that's really a great idea to not be faced with the overwhelming, I've got to do this whole product right now, but that's actually a great idea. So I just wanted to do a little bit, I want you to tell people a little bit when we finish up here. I wanted to talk about your event in Atlanta, which I will tell my folks that will be listening to this. I am definitely going. I'm all signed up, and I can't wait to go. So I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about some of the other services that you offer, your coaching and your products and things, so that folks can come over to your site. We'll put that link below the video, but they can come over there and get an idea of what you have to offer for them.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that. CompleteMarketingSystems.com, that will show you everything, but we have really a full suite of things. We do coaching and consulting. We have home study systems. I do a lot of done-for-you stuff, so marketing help, done-for-you social media, event marketing and planning, predominantly around really helping you build your business and take it to the next level. So if you're new and you're looking to go to 6 figures, we do a lot of that. I've got 2 people this year we've literally taken from idea to 6 figures in 90 days. Wow. If you already have a 6 figure, which is, is so much fun for me. That's somebody said to me the other day, a business associate, she said, you know, Diane, it's not about building an empire for you. It's really about you helping other people build their businesses. I get such just a thrill from doing that. If you already have a 6-figure business, you're looking to go to 7, we can help you do that. So it's really about marketing and systems and strategy and looking at all of the things that, you know, we're going to talk about October 25th through the 27th at the event, which we're calling the Marketing Success Intensive. And I'm really going to be teaching my system that I call PLANS, which stands for Plan and Prepare, Leverage, Action, Next and Now, and Strategy and Systems. The acronym is PLANS. And no matter where you are in your business, that's the foundation that you need to start with, to start your business or to grow your business. So all the details for the event, Sharon, are at marketingsuccessintensive.com. Okay. And the investment's only $497, 3 full days, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee at the end of the 3rd day, not the 1st day, the 3rd day. If you come and say, I didn't get my money's worth, I'll give you your money back. We're going to do your marketing calendar. It's going to be very hands-on, small group. There's going to be probably 30 to 40 people there, so I can really get involved and get to know everybody and really help you while you're there. And we do a follow-up call about 30 to 45 days later, so I don't leave you out in the cold to do your thing, and I really want you to apply things.
Great. I know I'm excited, and the people that are coming down with me, we're all very excited to be there and kind of pick your brain. So be ready. I
will be ready. I will be ready. I'm as excited as you are. Trust me.
Well, thank you so much, Diane, for doing this interview. And like I said before, I'm going to put all the information below the video so folks don't have to feel like they have to, get it all down now. This is Sharon Vornholt, and thank you so much, Diane, once again for speaking with us today.
Thank you, Sharon. It was my pleasure.